searching for the perfect love. You can't purchase it, you perfect love. Don't be searching for the perfect love unless the love you searching for someone inside yourself.
Welcome back to the Women in Hip Hop Wednesdays podcast. I'm your host, your music midwife and nerdy hip hop homegirl, Coco Peila. I'm an MC, songwriter, singer, record producer, and the MC is the part that qualifies me to take y'all on this journey. Once again, last episode, we got to interview the lovely, the marvelous, the magnificent DJ KK47. And she reminded us that April is International Black Women's History Month, which is just amazing because I was telling y'all how I love a February Black History Month followed by a March Women's History Month. And I told y'all, February and March is like, I'm loving it because it's called Black Girl Magic Season. So now we get to expand Black Girl Magic Season into April. Oh, y'all, it's amazing. We good? Okay. Woo. So today's segment is called Breaking Down. Y'all have been telling me that you love the Breaking Down segments. You also have been telling me like, Coco, who the fuck are you? Can you please tell us more about your journey, your music, so on and so forth. On today's segment, Breaking Down, we are gonna go back to one of my songs off of a project called Whose World, The New Normal, which is a collaboration with Creative Wildfire. And Creative Wildfire is led by a coalition of organizations, Climate Justice Alliance, Movement Generation, and New Economy Coalition. And they do amazing work. Oh, and Art Co-op, my bad. Let me make sure I shout out everybody. So this is an incredible collaboration where they link up with basically artists, organizers, artist disruptors, and they share resources and funds for the artists to be able to make art that's specifically about the times, that shares socio-political analysis, that offers people hope, that addresses issues around oppression, and offers art that is liberation centered. So it's super dope. And I got the chance to collaborate with them back in 2021. And then the project was released in 2022. It was a it is a hip hop and climate justice project. And there's a lot of pieces to it. You can go online, you can find the ciphers. Actually, one of the ciphers, the New York City cipher of Remember, features DJ KK47 herself. Okay, so you could go and check out that cameo. You see how everything is connected right now, all the episodes. But anyway, so there's a song off of this EP called Forward Eva. Y'all know I love a good 20-minute intro to explain to you what I'm about to talk about. But for right now, we're going to get straight into the music. You get to listen to it, vibe with it, catch the lyrics. And then we're going to break it open and actually walk through the lyrics, verse, chorus, bridge, piece by piece. And then I'll talk to you a little bit about the meaning behind it if I feel like that's necessary at all. This beat was produced by an artist named Isaiah Mustafa, and he's from the Bay Area. So without further ado, this is Forward Eva. They say it get worse, but it get better. Ain't a problem without a solution. Never been a better time for revolution. For whatever, back whenever. They say it get worse, but it get better. Ain't a problem without a solution. Never been a better time for revolution. I'm thinking about my ancestors and the way they came on the ships. Bodies on bodies on bodies, man, they make me sick. What they got when they realize they survived the trip. What a gift and curse to carry up in your person listening.
to the sound around them. Waves and birds and sounds around them. Now that one till later, slave traders was using whips and cages. Now I'm pacing, they facing nothing and Nathan what they did. So yo, I'm saying, they in me, then I'm praying. I'm displaying their courage up in my day and my life and repay them. For the rays of sun, I'm blessed to live and breathing. Laying this morning, yawning, it's dawning, it's finally dawning on me. OGs dropped the diamonds on me, now they finally shining on me. Forward ever, back whenever. They say it get worse, forward get better. Ain't a problem without a solution. Never been a better time for revolution. I'm thinking about my ancestors and the way they came on the ships. Italy, Germany, France, Wales, and St. Kitts. Who they left behind to find a dream and who they missed. Did they know attempted genocides would they'd assist? Did they know the land they lived on told they might cut on? Had the people long before they came that called it home? Did they know and choose to look away, deflect the truth? Was they misinformed or in denial despite the proof? American dream, American dream, American dream. You are an American nightmare to many. American dream, American dream, American dream, American dream.
You are a paradox of both, and I sit between her paradox that done damage created me. Maybe that's why we feel it's grief. Why we smoke, drink, and fuck till the pain recedes. Why we work to the bone in the name of succeeding, just to find it was people and love we was needing. Countries like mine could stop the bleeding. Expansion, extraction, stop the stealing. Healing, greeting, fear and feelings. That's got us repeating history. What caused this disease? And 'tis the season to get liberated. Go ahead, pop it, drop it, shake it off. You was born into this, but it's not you. Forward ever go together, yo, I got you.
This is for the ones who came before and those to come. This is for us here right now. Whoa, this one's for liberation.
It ain't about red or blue, win or lose, it's about green. Growth, life, change, thriving. Y'all voted, but it ain't about Biden versus Trump. It's about me and you, life and death, what we facing. Death and birth, same earth we been placed in. Only one that we cannot replace it. So painful to face it. Let you don't get complacent. We ain't gotta recreate a broken system. The youth leading us, it's time that we listen. We got the power to create something different. The new normal is a just transition.
Forward ever, back whenever.
They say it get worse, forward get better. Ain't a problem without a solution. Never been a better time for revolution.
Forward ever, back whenever.
They say it get worse, forward get better. Ain't a problem without a solution. Never been a better time for revolution. Woo. So that was Forward Eva. And part of why I wanted to do Forward Eva this month, breaking down as a segment where we listen to a song of mine, because I know, like I said, the MC is the part that qualifies me to take y'all on this journey. This is the part that I feel qualifies me to be up here studying the greats in real time and interviewing the folks that have been contributing to this beautiful culture. And so, like I said, based on y'all's requests for me to share a little bit more about myself, this one came to me because although it's older, and you can even hear in some of the lyrics, like in the fourth verse, I refer to Biden and Trump. Well, we know that that was back in the earlier days, and before the second Trump administration came into play. But unfortunately, some of the issues addressed in the song are even more dire and more pressing than they were then. Because we need a system-wide transformation to happen, right? It's not something that's going to be solved by voting for one party or another party. So let's just get into these lyrics. I'm going to read them to y'all and then, pause for commentary. You know how I like to do, but we're going to keep it moving. So the chorus goes, forward ever, backward never. They say it get worse, forward get better. Ain't a problem without a solution. Never been a better time for revolution. A lot of the revolutionary organizers and activists and thinkers who came before us talk about when a system of oppression, when an oppressive society is collapsing, is going to get worse first, especially when we're talking about, I can speak on the U.S., right? Because it's where I'm born and raised. I know that outside of the U.S., there are different historical aspects, like context to it. So I might not hit it on the nose for those outside of the U.S., but I can speak from my own experience, which is that there's a lot of pretense wrapped up in our country, a lot of arrogance, a lot of kind of posing as if we are the superior, right? People talk about, there's something that people say, oh, the land of the free. People will say like the leaders of the free world, these kinds of phrases get thrown around. And there's a lot of United States nationalism, right? Globally, because of the way that the United States has oppressed and exploited peoples all over the world in order to be able to have so much resource to boost ourselves up, as if we're, people be like, what, y'all have heard this too, like with the Olympics or in sports, we're number one. The United States is hella obsessed with being kind of like that Wizard of Oz version behind the curtain of like projecting this perfect number one, all powerful, omnipresent, the all-seeing eye, right, of the globe. But the truth is really, it's more about smoke and mirrors than it is really the truth, because I feel like true power, of course, is sharing. True power is collaboration, cooperation, accountability. That's power. Power is when you create a system that actually allows for all people to thrive, when you create a system that doesn't require oppression and exploitation, et cetera, in order to run. And so this chorus, forward ever, backward never, they say it get worse, forward get better. Ain't a problem without a solution. Never been a better time for revolution. When we are in the battlefield, which is where we are right now, if anybody was confused about where the fuck we're at right now in history, we are, future ancestors creating the history that our youngsters are going to look back on. And when you're going into the battlefield, although we have a lot of crying, we have a lot of grieving to do about those that we've lost, and also about the harms that we've experienced and that the world has experienced at the hands of these systems of oppression and people who continue to align themselves with these systems. We also have to claim the victory before it happens. And so for me, because when I tell you, there were some days this week where I was laid out flat, crying on my back, like, oh my God, just feeling the weight of the world. And a lot of times we pathologize ourselves and we think, oh, like, I'm so depressed because something's wrong with me. It's like something is wrong with the society. Something is wrong with the oppressive society and the systems of oppression that are making us sick, that have harmed us, not just in our lifetimes, but before, which we've talked about on past episodes. So we need to have medicine that we say to ourselves and that we say to each other that reminds us of the truth and the power and the possibility. And so for me, the chorus is always the core, the foundation of the song, and you want to come back to the main sentiment. And for me, the main sentiment is time moves on, time moves forward. We actually can't go back in time, right? We can't go back and change what they did to our people. But we can look forward, and through our actions that we're doing now, we can build something better. They say it get worse, forward get better. Guess what? Yup, it's getting worse. But when you have a festering infection or a cut, first the poison has to come to the surface. You can't put a bunch of bandages and it's infected inside and think it's not going to keep becoming a bigger and a bigger wound. So the poison is coming to the surface, and we have the opportunity and the chance to name it, see it, and use the medicine to heal it. And then from a clean, from a clean wound now, let our body, our collective consciousness, our countries, our world, our society heal. What's up, y'all? I just wanted to make sure to invite you to collect the print. As you know, we have a limited edition 12 by 12 high quality print. And this is a collaboration with an amazing Black female artist named China Brown, who designed this. You can frame it, you can put it up in your office, you can put it up in your home, you can gift it to somebody. On the back is a wonderful QR code that you can scan, and it downloads the single, the Love Me All acoustic, which is not going to be on my studio album. It's not on any of the streaming platforms. It's like a special, very limited release. If you want to know more about it, you want to order a pack with all the dope ass colors, or you just want to get a single, you can go to cocopeila.com/the-print. This is for every Black woman that gave the culture everything and got crumbs in return. We are investing in building a different system that really honors our art, our songs, our visual art, our contributions, our analysis as fine art. And I'm so excited to have y'all. So go snatch this shit up before it goes, because it's not going to be here for long. And yeah, thank you. Ain't a problem without a solution. So this is, maybe I'm Delulu, but this is how I literally survived the horrors of my childhood. Okay, what's the solution? Now, we do need to slow down. We do need to connect. We do need to grieve, right? We don't want to jump over it. But I heard somewhere that there is at least one elegant solution to every problem. And this is the thing about the media right now, the Trump administration, the many shady billionaires and corporations that are trying to project this idea that all hope is lost and they're so powerful and they can see us everywhere. They try to scare us into being so sad and so overwhelmed and so discouraged that we feel like we have to just accept this fate, and this is the only way that things are going to go. I can't tell y'all how many times people have told me, well, there's always been war. That's just how people are. So I guess that's just how it has to be. No, it doesn't have to be that way. And there are a lot of examples throughout the world, especially outside of the US, where folks have figured out incredible ways to live together. And if we look back, hundreds and then thousands of years, it wasn't always like what's happening right now, and it doesn't have to be. I think that that's the lie of white supremacy. That's the lie of colonization. That's the lie of imperialism, saying, oh, this is just human nature. No, maybe that's how that culture developed and wanted to go throughout the world and spread it. But actually, that isn't the natural. That's not the nature. And we talked about that too, right? When babies come out, they're not coming out like, I want to colonize, I want to beat, I want to steal, I want to harm. That's not how babies are born. So something happens. We talked about that in another episode. Something happens to us. And so in order for us to stop the wars, the murder, the greed, the violence, the sexual violence, the stealing, the exploitation, the suffering, we have to stop it at the root. We have to figure out how to create a society where no more babies get born and harmed in that way, so that they get to grow up and have a chance at their humanity. There is one elegant solution to every problem. And so what if we were to figure out how to look at these overwhelming problems and actually move in the solution instead of create more problems? For example, the idea of war, right? Like, okay, you bomb me, then I bomb you, then to me, that's not a solution. And I think those are tools of domination that need to be taken off of the table. Never been a better time for revolution. Well, guess what? We there. We're here in that time. Verse 1, I'm thinking about my ancestors and the way they came on the ships. Bodies on bodies on bodies, men, it make me sick. what they felt when they realized they survived the trip. What a gift and curse to carry up in your person, listening to the sound around them, waves and birds as hounds surround them. Now that went till later. Slave traders was using whips and cages. Now I'm pacing and facing nothing and Nathan what they did. So yo, I'm saying if they in me, then I'm praying, I'm displaying their courage up in my day and my life to repay them. For the rays of sun, I'm blessed to live and breathe and lay in. This morning yawning, it's dawn and it's finally dawning on me. OGs dropped the diamonds on me. Now they're finally shining on me. This is a verse that I wrote very early in the morning, waking up and thinking back over the hundreds and hundreds of years and the people who survived the slave ships and the people who survived the human trafficking in my ancestry, the African ancestors who survived it. And just thinking about not only over having been stolen and trafficked and going through the horrendous experience of being on these ships and then getting to the shores and then being brought to these auction blocks and then being spread out. I mean, just one after the next after the next. And so in this moment, I was just thinking about what they went through, as individual human beings living a life where this was happening to them against their will. And then as a lineage of people where this continued to happen over hundreds of years. And trying to zoom out and put things in perspective of like, wow, these are the people that I come from. Like these folks survived. Some of these folks were born on a plantation and also took their last breath on a plantation. They didn't get to see this day that I'm getting to see. And I'm seeing it because of their decision to live and their decision to fight and their decision to resist, even sometimes in covert ways, right? Because the oppression was so heavy and brutal that sometimes we couldn't resist out in the open, or we had to strategically decide like, okay, is this the day where we gonna act a fool and cut up and just go all in? Or is this the day where we're gonna resist in different, more subtle ways? Anyway, so this is what this is about. And this is about me, realizing, okay, this is what they went through so that I could exist. And now what I'm facing in my life, I must have the strength to face whatever is going on in my life, because look at who I come from and look at what they did for me so that I could just be here and wake up and have the sun shine in through my window and hit my shoulder and breathe this air and rest my body for a second and all these things. So that's what that's about. Then we go back to the chorus, forward ever, backward never. They say it get worse, forward get better. And a problem without a solution, never been a better time for revolution. I'm thinking about my ancestors and the way they came on the ships. Italy, Germany, France, Wales, and St. Kitts. Who they left behind to find a dream and who they missed. Did they know attempted genocides would they'd assist? Did they know the land they lived on, told they might could own, had a people long before they came that called it home? Did they know and choose to look away, deflect the truth? Was they misinformed or in denial despite the truth? Despite the proof. Was they misinformed or in denial despite the proof? This was a conversation that I had with one of my aunties, and she was like, well, you're white too. And I was like, yes, I know I'm white too. Thank you for reminding me once again. Well, you're white too. Your ancestors aren't just African ancestors. And I was like, yeah, I know, but I walk through the world not as a white woman. No one sees me and is like, that's a white woman. There's definitely colorism and light skin privilege that I walk with and proximity to whiteness through having a white parent. But so we had this conversation and I was like, you know what, she's right. Let me think about the other ancestors and how they got here, right? And so I thought through, okay, my grandfather's people immigrated from Italy to New York. Right before the Great Depression, okay? My grandmother's people immigrated to the Midwest in the United States from Germany, okay? Her other people came from France and they went to Canada and then through Canada came down. And from Wales, I don't know what their trajectory was. On my father's side, they also immigrated to New York from St. Kitts. My great grandmother came over as a domestic worker for a white family when she was 19, and happened to recognize, my grandfather saw her working in a house and walked past the window and recognized her from the island of St. Kitts and Nevis and was like, wait, I recognize you from back home. And that's how they met, the great grandparents from St. Kitts. But this is me kind of really wanting to interrogate it. Okay, I'm thinking about my ancestors in the way that they came on the ships. These are different ships that they came on. They came by choice. They got to immigrate. They weren't trafficked. Who they left behind to find a dream. We talk about the American dream, and who they missed. Who got left back behind? Did they know attempted genocides would they desist? Did they understand when they came for this quote unquote American dream that they were actually immigrating to occupied land of people? Did they know the land they lived on, told they might could own, had a people long before they came that called it home? Did they know and choose to look away, deflect the truth? Was they misinformed or in denial despite the proof? Because we have to look at, if we're not indigenous to this land, how the fuck did we get here? And what happened with our people? Because what happened with them then is it points to what's happening right now, right? People be like, well, but they told me that I could come here and have a better life and whoomty. Well, it was already people here that they didn't consult with, right? So this is just me kind of interrogating it. The bridge goes, American dream, American dream, American dream. You are an American nightmare to many. American dream, American dream, American dream. You are a paradox. The both and I sit between, a paradox that done damage created me. That's where I'm talking about, okay, to me, the American dream, as we can see now, is very much a nightmare, not just to people inside of the US, but throughout the world. But also, when I talk about it as a paradox, for me, I wouldn't exist without this. Like, my ancestors came seeking a lot of different things, and some of them came against their will. And so I, as a descendant of those people, sit between those experiences. And it's like, well, if this hadn't happened, I wouldn't exist, but I exist, but it's hard that And so the paradox that done damaged, these things damaged my people and damaged me and came through and showed up as like intergenerational trauma in my family, but it also created me, and now I'm here. Verse 3, maybe that's why we feel this grief, why we smoke, drink, and fuck till the pain recedes, why we work to the bone in the name of succeeding just to find it was people in love we was needing. Countries like mine could stop the bleeding, expansion, extraction, stop the stealing, heal the greed and fear and feelings that's got us repeating history. What caused this disease? And 'tis the season to get liberated. Go ahead, pop it, drop it, shake it off. You was born into this, but it's not you. For whatever go together, yo, I got you, right? So this is me reflecting upon addictions and compulsions, and it's like, wait a minute, here we are blaming ourselves, pathologizing ourselves, but like, no wonder we're numbing ourselves out. Like, look at this shit that we came from that they have us constantly in denial about. Like, of course we're doing all this to numb ourselves. And then under capitalism, why we work to the bone in the name of succeeding, just to find it was people in love we was needing, right? That's why people end up being in the billionaire class and then they lonely as fuck. And the only people around them are people who they pay for things instead of based on deep, loving, caring, cooperative, interdependent relationships, right? And then, of course, I go into countries like mine could stop the bleeding. And I'm just talking about, colonization, capitalism, imperialism, and how the U.S. has done what it's done, y'all. And I guess one thing that I want to say about this verse is, at the time when I was writing this, as a hip hop and climate justice piece, I was trying to get into the underpinnings of like the personal, interpersonal connection with like the systemic and institutional. Like, how do we actually dive into our own lineages? What's showing up, the trauma and the dysfunction that's showing up in the present time within ourselves? And then connecting those dots back to what our people had to go through, and then the systems that they were in and that we are in and that we're navigating, right? And then how that then shows up as what I'm talking about: expansion, extraction, stealing, greed, you know what I'm saying? War, all these things. It's like we have to heal ourselves so that we can start, so that we can recognize this dysfunction on a global scale and stand against it. So there's a break after verse 3, and the break goes, this is for the ones that came before and those to come. This is for us here right now. Oh, this one's for liberation. And that's just making sure that we connect the ancestors to us right here, to who's coming after us. And that's who this song is dedicated to. All right, we almost through. Verse 4. It ain't about red or blue, win or lose. It's about green, growth, life, change, thriving. Yeah, I voted, but it ain't about Biden versus Trump. It's about me and you. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it's the 99%. It's not the 1% that has the control over what's about to happen. And if you and I can't get on the same page as humans, fuck what's going on with the presidents. Yes, I choose to vote. That's one of the ways that I choose to show up. But ultimately, it's not about, and we can see that it's not about Biden versus Trump, because look at where we are now and what we've gone through. It's about me and you, life and death, what we facing, death and birth, same earth we've been placed in, only one and we cannot replace it. So painful to face it, love, just don't get complacent. We ain't got to recreate a broken system. The youth leading us, it's time that we listen. We got the power to create something different. The new normal is a just transition. It's all very self-explanatory. I know I love to just be like, and in this line, I was talking about, but this is just basically about a lot of the times, I think that the idea that somebody's going to come in and save us, a president or a leader, is actually a way to keep us disempowered. Part of what we need to build is the type of relationships where we can transform society with. And if in our relationships we're acting out our oppressive roles or privilege or whatever the case may be, our internalized oppression on each other, and then we expect these people who have put themselves in the position to be a leader or projected that they're leaders to solve the problems. No, just electing someone in office is not going to solve it. It's about how I live my life. It's about how the people around me hold me accountable when I'm out of pocket or when I have a blind spot that's causing harm or draining resources. It's about that. It's about having the type of tight, loving relationships with enough trust and intimacy that we can keep it real with each other and check each other, because no one is perfect, right? If we don't have those type of relationships and we don't develop the ability to interrogate our own behavior and ask ourselves those hard questions, we're not going to get nowhere. And we can't just point at the biggest villain in the room, although we know the biggest villain, we know who they are, right? But at the same time, if we were on point with each other, the 99%, the 1% would not stand a chance, and they don't stand a chance. Even if 50% of us was on the same page about liberation. So that's part of our work. And I think that it's important that we reframe it from, because people will be like, man, I wish they would just take so-and-so leader out. I wish he would just die. He hella old. He just need a kill over. Somebody say, oh, I wish Trump would. Guess what? That fool dies, 5 people worse than him rise up in his place. So we need to heal this sickness that's within us in the society, but we also need to come up with there's so much, it's within us. The power is within us. And somebody passing away by natural causes or other causes is actually not gonna, because if that was the case, the evil ass MFs that did this shit hundreds of years ago, once they died, it would have been cured. once they went off and created a new country, right? Like, we know that the European men that came from Europe to found this country, quote unquote, were seeking freedom, and they were about revolution, and they wasn't being treated right back in their home country. And they came here and they targeted the people here by genocide. They stole and trafficked a bunch of people from Africa, and they recreated an even more grotesque system. So although we do need to hold leaders, especially the oppressive ones that have gone rogue, accountable, we also have to interrogate what oppression have we internalized that then someone else rises up in their place, and what powerlessness have we internalized, or helplessness that have we internalized that causes us to then allow these fools to just sweep this shit when really we have the power. And then, lastly, it's all interconnected, right? We ain't got to recreate a broken system. If capitalism or classism or imperialism, if it's not working for us, we don't have to recreate something that's not working for us and not working for the mass amount of people, the majority of people. There are options. Plus, we have the youth clearly showing us a way forward, and we get to partner with the youth. We don't just put it on their shoulders, say, oh, you're the future, go ahead and save us. No, you still alive. Come on, shoulder to shoulder, we gonna make it happen. And then we return to the chorus, forward ever, backward never. They say it get worse, forward get better. Ain't a problem without a solution. Never been a better time for revolution, right? It's never been a better time for revolution. The time is now. So y'all know what I'm about to say. Hip hop is a conversation. So what the fuck is you saying? Or how the fuck are you listening? How are you showing up, and how are you building relationships, and how are you healing yourself so you can deepen those relationships, so that you can hold yourself accountable and be held accountable in love, and be called in, and do the same for others. And we can grow in a way that isn't about scapegoating or blaming, but it's really about reclaiming our humanity and our innate nature, our ability to being in community and connection. That's where the medicine is. And that's why these fools are dumping billions of dollars into, keeping us isolated and disconnected and not trusting one another and all the things that happen. So I love y'all. For real, for real.